The film is set in the late 1960s, and it felt very much of that time when watching it. So Rachel and Jameen, can you talk about how you collaborated with the director on the vision of the film? Obviously, Rachel from a lensing point of view, and Jameen from building the sets.
Benno had done, a huge amount of research. I think he was really interested in, some of the paranoia films from the, Clue to Parallax View. We looked at those. We looked at a lot of photography books. And I think for us, really, we were talking about, exploring subjectivity versus objectivity and the difference between sort of experiencing the world through Jean's eyes with Jean versus watching Jean, and kind of how to, visualize that difference.
Yeah, I think a lot of it also came into trying to make we had to make 3 different places feel very different and of the part of the time, New York and Paris and Los Angeles, and also be to be set in the 60s and have it where there was a lot of voyeuristic things where she was being watched a lot, and a lot of the locations and a lot of the design that we worked on together was how to make it always feel like maybe she was once removed, or she was always being watched, as some of the films you mentioned.
And Jameen, you used pieces that were authentic to that time era, correct? Can you talk about sort of what the challenges of finding finding different pieces or setups that were from that time?
Yeah, I think it gets harder and harder to do period things as we get farther away, to make them feel natural, and that was sort of our goal, was that how to make her feel sort of just natural within her surroundings. So it just became a lot of estate sale shopping on the weekends, and we're at a strange point now where there's a lot of people who are just passing from that time period. So there's a lot of houses and places that are, updating, but you can find a lot of these gems and great pieces. We tried to mimic that with the artwork as well, of things that she liked. Like they were very into sort of this modern architecture, and worked with the sculptor Giacometti's brother and all these guys in Paris. So they were on the forefront of a lot. So we tried to push that sort of modern, brutal aesthetic.
And Rachel, were you familiar with Jean Seberg's story before this film? And when you were doing and researching and making this film, what aspects of her life did you connect with?
I was probably as familiar with Jean as most of us are, which is just from her work in Breathless. Like, I thought she was a French actress and had no idea that she was actually American, and kind of grew up in back and forth between France and America. For me, I just found, anytime you get to do something that's so sort of deeply immersive into somebody's psyche is really appealing to me. And, I think the idea that, nobody believed her, which is something that we've been dealing with a lot lately. I thought was very fascinating as well, that, in the end, everybody just thought she was cracking up, but she was right. Mm-hmm.